Hey, welcome back to the Warriors Life Code YouTube channel. And I'm so excited to have you back. And remember, if you're liking what you're seeing, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you're thinking about. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, so check me out there as well. And today, in this next episode, I want to talk about something that's really, really important to me. And it's because it's like one of the foundations of the Warriors Life Code, which, of course, as you remember, stands for Live Incredibly Full Every Day. And that is the mindset of lack versus abundance. So this was a big problem for me as I was figuring out how to move forward in my life. I'd always thought that I was an optimist, thinking that everything was going to be okay. And a lot of that had to do about my rationalize, which I say is rational lies, lying to myself that it's rational to think that everything's okay. And then it was veiled in optimism that was not true optimism. So because underneath it, it was like, I can't, it won't happen. And that's the mindset of lack that I'm talking about. So as I went through my own personal transformation, realizing that the things that were holding me back, like my temper, like my need to control everything, and like really that I took everything personally, I realized one of the things that was happening was, as much as I thought I was an optimist, maybe on the outside, on the inside, I was always beating myself up saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. And what happened is, as I went through this personal transformation and started reading some fantastic books, especially by a mentor of mine, Genevieve Davis, who I've had the pleasure to meet and be coached by. And her books are about magic. And it's not about, let's split the fingers. It's about understanding that you withhold with the magic within you. It's taking the level of the law of attraction to the next level and understanding that that's the foundation. But it starts with, even before that, understanding the difference between have to and want to. Or I have to go to work instead of I get to go to work. Or I want to get this, or I have to get a new car. I can't afford a new car. Oh, how can I afford a new car? That's the difference. Lack is I can't, and it's right there. As soon as you say it, you can't. But if you say, how can I, you're moving yourself forward towards your goal or towards your end result. And there's never an end result. There's always a journey. But in this case, with the car, end result, or losing weight. Oh, I can't lose weight. I can't exercise. Yes, you can. You could find a few minutes and let it build and let it build. And that's where we start lack versus abundance. So for me, it's very important, this whole concept. And it's really the basis, like I said, the foundation for my coaching. Because I help people move from that mindset of lack to abundance. And one of the things, as you might know, is I'm an modern Orthodox Jewish here in New York, Brooklyn, New York. And I read the Torah all the time. And as a matter of fact, in a recent weekly Torah portion, it talked about one of my favorite stories that really made it come home for me. And that's the story of when Jacob, one of the forefathers of the Jewish nation, Jacob, was coming back home after being away for over 20 years. And he was coming back home. And part of the problem is when he left in a time of tumult, of problems, because he had just deceived his brother and his father in getting the blessing from his father, and earlier he had stolen or convinced his brother, deceived him to give him the birthright. So he's coming back, and he hears that Esau, his brother, is coming with 400 men. And he's here, a man with 12 sons, a daughter, 11 sons at the time actually, a daughter, four wives, and a bunch of flocks of sheep and things, and all the things he'd collected from working for his father-in-law. And he was nervous. What's going to happen? So he devised a plan on how to meet up with his brother by showing him that he wants to put the past behind him, by putting things in front, gifts to his brother. But before I go there, I want to go back one step. The night before, he brought everybody over this river, and then he realized he left a few jars on the other side. So he went back to get them. And the importance of the jars is more about that he doesn't leave anything behind. Everything is important to him, and I'll get to that a little bit as well. But here, what happened was, as he went back, he was alone, and he's met by a man who we later find out is really an angel of God. And they get into a fight. And what's happening here is it's really his alter ego. It's his inner self. He's at a low point of his life. He has a plan, but he's not sure if it's going to work. He's afraid to move forward. So he goes back and he ends up in a fight all night with this man who's really an angel. And it's back and forth and back and forth. And it's getting towards dawn. And the man says, I have to leave. We have to stop fighting. I have to leave. And he hits him in the thigh. And he injures him there. And Jacob says, by this time he realizes he's an angel. He says, please give me a blessing. So he says, okay. The man says, okay, the angel, what's your name? He said, my name is Jacob, Yaakov. And if you know anything about history, about the Bible, he's called Yaakov because he came out on the heel of Esau. Like he came right out. He was holding on to his heel. And Yaakov means crooked. It's heel crooked. So he says, from now on, you are going to be called Israel. And the root word of Israel, the first part of it is Yud Shin Resh, which is Yashar, which is straight. And El is God, straight to God. So he's like, and he'll become, he says, we know he'll end up becoming the father of the nation of Israel. And so he has this injury. So it's interesting. The injury was, so he went through this battle. It was a low time in his life. He came through it and he realized that he's ready to move forward in his life and to release the issues that were behind him. That's what this battle was about. And what was the injury about? The injury was about for him to remember never to be complacent, never to say, okay, I have, everything's okay and I don't have to do anymore. And it was a reminder for him, which is for us, whenever we have a downtime, that's the time for us to look at ourselves. We have to keep growing. So now he's meeting with his brothers. So what does he do? He sends up camps ahead of him. He sends up people, some of his children, some of his people with gifts. This is from your servant Jacob. This is from your servant Jacob. And they each come and they say this. So now, by the time Esau and Jacob meet Yaakov, he's worn down a little bit, Esau. He's like, and he gives him a big hug and kiss, and he's like, welcome, my brother, welcome. He goes, thank you for all the gifts. I don't need any of this. I have a lot. And Jacob says, no, I have everything. And it comes down that the a lot and the everything is lack versus abundance. When you say a lot, he ended up taking it because he knew he wanted it, because he always wants more. He's always in that lack mindset. I want more, I want more, I want more. And Jacob, saying, I have everything, said, whatever I have, and whatever I give away is fine because I have everything I need. Doesn't mean he became complacent. It just meant that he understood wherever he was in his life was an abundant place to be. And that's what this is all about. It's about, and it's not easy. And there are going to be times where you're going to struggle. I struggle. And whenever that happens, I go back to my thoughts. I go back to lack versus abundance. Why am I thinking this? Let me change my mindset. And that's something that you can do too. So that's my message for today. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. That is a cornerstone, a foundation of the Warrior's Life Code. Please, if you like what you're seeing here, subscribe, share it with others, give me some comments, tell me what you think. Have a great day, enjoy life, and live incredibly full every day.